So next, I'm going to jump right into everything you always want to know about education, and we're going to touch a little bit today about professional development. So we are all lifelong learners. An important component of the Safe Routes programming is the Education E. Through education, we offer the tools students need to be smart, safe pedestrians and bicyclists through a combination of training sessions, school assemblies, workshops, videos, and printed materials. We also have resources available for parents and guardians, educators, and community stakeholders that include webinars, lesson plans, videos, and downloadable materials. Although the program's educational offerings are recommended for specific grade levels, any of our program's components can be adapted to meet the needs of all students, grades K through 8. For example, it would be appropriate during a pedestrian safety lesson at the kindergarten level to emphasize holding an adult's hand when crossing the street, versus teaching a third grader to make eye contact with all stop traffic before crossing. The vision of the Safe Routes to School program is to positively impact student safety and student active transportation through a sustainable and community-wide approach. To accomplish this, Safe Routes approaches the Education E from the bottom up and the top down. Central to all we do are the students. So these key stakeholders include the students. For students, having the understanding and confidence to safely navigate our ever-changing built environment by being smart pedestrians and bicyclists are skills necessary to be global citizens. For families, educating parents of safe arrival dismissal is equally as important as instilling the life lessons of pedestrian and bike safety in our students. For school administrators who manage school property, municipal departments who manage municipal property, and community groups that help bridge the gap between the two, keeping abreast of best practices in active transportation is key. And for educators, adopting the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education approved curriculum provides a sustainable and equitable base across the district and recognizes educators' efforts by qualifying them for their learning process with professional development credit. So now let's dig a little bit deeper into how the program's educational offerings benefit each of these stakeholders. Let's start with the kiddos. So with our pedestrian safety curriculum, it's recommended for grades 2 to 3. Typically, we like to perform this in the spring of the 2nd grade and the fall of the 3rd grade. So you get the same cohort just bookend around the summer. This is a skill-based, DESE approved curriculum. It is a 30-minute lesson that we held outdoors, but on school property, so you do not need a permission slip. The lesson consists of sidewalk, crosswalk, and parking lot safety. And we also offer opportunities for students, whether it be student council members at the middle school level or parents, to join in our training, and it helps to make the groups of students a bit smaller. With our bike safety curriculum, this is recommended for older students, typically grades 4, 6, or 8. Every student does not have a bike in school, so this lesson is not skills-based. It's a 30 to 45-minute assembly style lesson. It can be held indoors, outdoors, or it can be held virtually. Lessons consist of personal safety, bike safety, and the rules of the road. Local road elements are often incorporated, such as railroad crossings or difficult transportation or transit areas. Bike safety has a different angle to it, in that we can also offer it virtually. We cannot do this with pedestrian safety because, quite honestly, it's we don't have a sidewalk or a crosswalk in our family rooms where we're usually doing the filming. So these lessons offer content flexibility, really based on what your time constraints are and the needs of your school. Topics can include the entire bike assembly lesson that we would also conduct in person, or just elements therein. So for skills-based bike instruction, we call this a bike rodeo. It's recommended for all ages, grades K through 8. Every student would bring their bike or scooter, and this is typically a 30 to 45-minute lesson. The lessons consist of multiple stations, including helmet fitting and a skills-based obstacle course. Road elements and signage are incorporated into the obstacle course as we try to instruct the students that everything with wheels follows the same rules. The program also works well as a shared community effort with each station. Safe Routes program is very proud that we have a number of written materials for our students. This could be a seasonal active transportation bingo cards, which we have online. We have, as it's already been mentioned, a number of bookmarks, some in English and Spanish and other languages. And we also have some coloring sheets for the younger set. We have a wonderful working relationship with the law firm of Breakstone, White, and Gluck. It has a very kindly donate free youth helmets to organizations such as Safe Routes to School, and the program donates those throughout the state to our partner schools and organizations. Here, Safe Routes was able to provide the Winchester Police Department with a few helmets for its first annual community bike rodeo. As shown, it's also an example of how some local police reward their local students for wearing their helmets while riding by distributing either ice cream or pizza coupons. So let's move on to the parents. All students must arrive and depart school. How this is accomplished, though, is very much a factor of their guardian's choice as a student, depending on the student's age. Thank you, Rachel, for already stating this, and we can never say this too much. Parents are not in traffic, they often are the traffic. So questions for you. Is this your school? Do family vehicles queue on public roadways? Are carts full of those little green men needed to slow down family traffic? And are cones and crosswalk signs needed to ensure that folks follow school and posted rules? Do families complain about not being safe to let the students walk to school because of the traffic, and yet they drive their students to school? We also like to try to instill in parents that rules of the road apply to everyone. Again, is this your school? Do families teach by example by always using crosswalks? Do folks follow the rules of the road? Or are U-turns and parking anywhere a point of convenience, not of safety? Or all of the above, as seen on the right, parking on crosswalks, blocking driveways, blocking the street? Do families understand that rules apply to everyone? And lastly, is this your school? Do family cars block driveways, blocking buses and even local traffic? Are students using the street side of the car to enter and exit their family vehicle? Safety does involve common sense as much as scripted and posted rules. So Safe Routes to School has developed some safety strategy tip sheets that highlight these and other common school zone concerns and challenges. Each are available in 9 languages. The arrival dismissal tip sheet demonstrates how to safely separate walking, biking, buses, and family vehicles on school property, how each modal user should safely act, and suggests some fun ways to make the journey from home to school fun and engaging. All drivers need to be aware and understand how to share the road with bicyclists, especially as our infrastructure adapts to the needs of these commuters and recreational users. Our bike awareness tip sheet will help explain the latest lingo and operational expectation of how everything with wheels shares our streets. Galen Mook of Mass Bike will be reviewing this tip sheet in more detail later in the program. All students deserve to get to and from school safely. It is vital for everyone to take extra care when they enter and exit the school campus. The driver awareness tip sheet includes some simple guidelines to help you understand the basics, such as reviewing the Massachusetts no idling law, the hands-free law, and the school bus laws associated with flashing lights, and the importance of being familiar with your school's arrival and dismissal plan. Parents and guardians can also be part of the next group of Safe Routes School stakeholders. Those include school administration, municipal departments, police, community groups and committees, and nonprofit organizations. The Safe Routes program prides itself on offering an array of webinars, which were previously forums, to keep all involved with student active transportation up to date on the latest and greatest innovations and technologies. As you are aware, registration is easy and all events are free. Has life interfered and you missed an event? No worries, for all our webinar materials are placed on our website under education and are closed captioned. So while we have the current calendar on the screen as an example, registration is currently open for our, as Diane has mentioned, our November 10th networking call, and looking ahead to the calendar to 2022, January 26th is an annual webinar for municipalities. So the Safe Routes website also contains many guidance documents, resources that are covering numerous topics. Particularly popular has been our Safe Routes, our Safe School Travel during COVID. Pictured here are our Safe Routes to School Toolkit publication and the Sustainability in the MassDOT Safe Routes to School Program document. As you can see, the topics are wide-ranging. So let's move on to crossing guards. Crossing guards are an integral part of any school safety team. It is equally important for our crossing guards to be properly trained in how to best aid students to safely navigate local streets and intersections. Written and video training materials are available on our website. So the last major stakeholder group associated with the Education E are the educators themselves. Active transportation is a topic that involves more than just physical activity. Related topics for English language arts, social studies, and STEM-related materials are also available to educators through the Safe Routes program. Examples of topics include: how much pollution do excessive idling vehicles produce? What is the math behind bike gears? Is the longest hiking-only trail in the US also the longest in the world? So supporting school districts to adopt our health and wellness curriculum and to train their faculty to use our resources ensures regular instruction of this topic matter, establishes equity between all schools within that district, and adds to program sustainability. Continuing education for educators, or professional development, is required by the Massachusetts Department of Elementary and Secondary Education with the goal of improving teacher practice and student outcomes. Last May, DESE accepted MassDOT's Safe Routes to School program's pedestrian and bicycle safety curriculum as part of its professional development accreditation program for Massachusetts educators and administrators. Now, educators can start receiving state-level credit for completing the Safe Routes programming. So let's get into a few of the program details. So the audience is a well-rounded audience that of those who might be involved with this topic. So as you would expect, teachers and those teacher leaders that work within the school, some school administrators might be interested. We have school districts where nurses are really the point people for the Safe Routes program, coaches, and any advocates or community partners. The training format is 3 ways. It's in person, it's online, and it's hybrid. And the training length is what is required by DESE. So it's 10 hours of in-person and self-paced instruction. So to participate in this program, educators need to schedule this with their outreach coordinators. The program is broken into 4 different modules. The first one is online learning. So pretty much a prerequisite of what the program is, if you would, that can be done at their leisure. The second part, in-person instruction, where we actually would review what the outreach coordinators would be presenting to our students for pedestrian and bike safety. The third, it would be observation. So they would observe us performing the lessons, as well as we would be observing them conduct the lessons. And then Module 4 is some optional components. So getting into the optional components a little bit, just so folks can speak to the individual educator interests, we have an array of optional learning materials which we can engage the students. So some examples are the All Abilities Guide, which addresses how to support students' specific needs so that all students could participate in the program. Next would be the Safe Routes to School program resources. We have a long list here, which include a wide range of options depending on the needs of your students. Again, you can work to establish a walking and biking club using our Walk Across America or Massachusetts map. You can access our encouragement library. We have a long list of no-cost, low-cost ways to make walking and biking to school more fun. Or participate in our annual events, such as our lawn sign contest, which usually has a theme that relates to something going on in the Commonwealth. Past themes have been no idling, the Massachusetts hands-free law. Last year's theme was dressed to be seen. And these are just a few examples of how you can help put our pedestrian and bike curriculum into action. So in closing, the Safe Routes program prides itself on how we involve all stakeholders in many diverse forms of education and learning. We all want to thank you for doing your part by participating today. So now, if there are any questions, be welcome to field them.